Good Woche, Boisai. A good Kvittle. Welcome to the guests. Shalom Aleichem. Wow. I talk about it all year round. It's not about the Daf, it's about the Yomi. And I always talk about Yom Kippur. The Olam came on Matzah Yom Kippur. It's a tremendous thing. There are many people out there that have better things to do, to build a sukkah, to eat, to rest. Came. Now, as far as I'm concerned, I learned a new thing. If you have a pounding headache, you're very, very tired, and you're very, very hungry, you prepare a share for 4 hours. That's what you do. It's geschmack. It's really geschmack. You know what? So I got to tell you, there was a minyan. I didn't put together the minyan. There's a minyan in this room, and it's a Gra Minyan. And I think that they should make more of these minyanim around the world. There's a big need for it. Seriously. My children wanted to daven here. I'll explain to you why. So I said, okay, I'll go daven with them. You know, I'm going to take one for the team. Also, give me a little bit more time to prepare a shir. The shir, please do me a favor. We got it. When shir starts, shkoya. So, this minyan starts at about 6:15 a.m. It's Vasikin. Rosh Hashanah was over at 8:30. Done at 8:30. Yom Kippur, done at 9:30. A little bit before? Avi, you were with us. It's Gra. They don't go fast, but they don't say any piyutim. There's no singing, a little bit of singing. They go, and they only do it one time around, and there's no piyutim.
Wet sock?
So,
Wet sock, though?
They know about the wet sock joke. I did a complete Pishu Yudam V'Reglayim here. On Rosh Hashanah, they saved. There's no Karim during Elenu. I know, seriously, there are people that just, they can't sit for 5-6 hours. So for those people that can, I propose that in America, they should make a Gra Minyan. Check it out. The Gra, if you become a Granik, your whole life is easier. You only bench till Al Yichasrein on Shabbos. Everything is half. He's never Machmed, the Gra, always Megel, including on Rosh Hashanah. Check it out. I'm not joking. We should institute it in certain places. Only for those. No, I don't want to take away from the regular davening. That's not what I'm here for. But for those Bachurim who just can't do it, the Gra Minyan. Now.
There's a caveat.
Huh?
In those places that are serious chronics, that means at 9:30 you get a little bit break, and then you're learning until midnight.
Whatever you do afterwards, that's your problem. That's your thing. Yeah. On Rosh Hashanah, everybody's learning because he shouldn't be sleeping. Ask these guys. These guys are still learning. Okay, so anyway, I want to say a tremendous yishkoyach to all the people that were mishtatif in the monthly giving. I couldn't believe it. 465 people. 465. The numbers are incredible. I was thinking during Shemona Esrei today and on Yom Kippur, this is my favorite time to think now. I thought about it. I really think that we should institute, like anybody that was mishtatif should get some merch on a monthly basis or something. There should be something. So Be'ezer Hashem, we'll do something. I just want to... Next year. I can't even read them at... Let me read some of these names. These are from Eretz Yisrael. Shalom Shefa, 100 shekel. Jonathan Berg, 360 a month. So maybe Jonathan Berg, he's a genius in these things. Maybe he'll help me out with the merch. We'll have to do something, even a small thing, but a little gift once in a while. Yuda Kirillin, 118 shekel. Now we're going to the Americans. Greg Haber, $101 a month. Aaron Zakowski, 36. Yossi Kovacs, 36. Ruben Bodamam, 10. R. Saab, 101. Daniel Sack, 10. Lawrence Pearl, 101. Jonah Berzon, 52. Jonas Robitcher, 10. Jonathan Jacob, 10. Jose Finkelberg Cohen, 10. I don't know what that is. Dina Carlos, 10. Moshe Hech, 36. Jamie Stadermauer, 36. Moshe Weiss, 36. Joel Weinstock, 36. Chana Bauer, 10. Yaakov Schoenfeld, 101. Yissucher Rothbaum. Yissucher. Yessucher. Rothbaum, 36. Yehuda Kesherim, 36. Joseph Schmerling, 10. Ron Fried, 52. David Ash, 10. Gidon Jaffa, 36. Joel and Ornella Wall. And the Powwow team, $200 a month. Again, Joel and Ornella Wall. And the Powwow team. Moshe Finkelstein, 10. Shira Wiseman, 10. Malcolm Kovacs, 10. Matthew Burke, 36. Nosson Tillum, 10. Yonah Rose, 10. Josh Zelig, 36. Ellie Kornfein, 10. Alex Gilden, 10. Tell me when to stop. Yudah Shook, 36. Keep on going. Listen to this one.
Go back to that Shira.
Alan David Listhouse, $300 a month. He's the same Dr. Listhouse who donated $20,000 from Masechtas Megillah. Dr. Alan Listhouse, he's famous. He's on Zoom every day. G. Manuel, 10. Tell me when to stop. You're not telling me. I'm not going to kill you. Steve Hackle, 36. Richard Sarah, 10. Edward Dayan, 52. Tell me when. Just tell me when. Yitzi, 10. Jeffrey Mendelsberg, 36. Okay, fine. Whew. It's never ending. Baruch Hashem, it's never ending. Rabbi said, Doyle can still give to the monthly giving. If you give, those who are locked in these days will get the merch, Be'ezer Hashem. Those who not, oh, you know what made me think seriously about the merch? The guy in front of me had a beautiful Vanachnu Koirim, one of those, his mother made him, a nice pillowcase. We could do something like that. It's not a sack from the Grushel. A guy came over to me, he said, by the way, I understand your story 100%. I got it in my face, but it was a crock. Because he did a full shtachava, he got it. Okay. Rabbi Isai, those of you who don't know the story, there's a few new guys here. They don't know the story. It's one of the classic stories. It's not a lot of people dropped out of this share because of the story, but I'll tell it to you anyways because you're such a chashuv guest. I went to the Grushel, the Chorv also. They do like the two, over there it's not a 2.5 hour minyan because their Shemona Esrei is like 35, 40 minutes. But anyway, to make a long story short, they don't wear Crocs or slippers or anything on Yom Kippur. Just socks. Now, there was a big problem with the bathrooms. There's a backup. And there was like an inch of I don't know what on the floor, and people trying to get around it. Most people stepped in it. It's not a big deal. It's with your socks, not a big deal. It will eventually evaporate. Now, fast forward. Here I am the first time in my life I'm going to do a full Pishut Yadayim V'Raglayim that is spread out completely when you say Vanachnu Koyim Kenusach HaGra. So I was getting ready. It was first, they do every other bench because there's not enough room, and then they push all the benches, and then it was my turn. Vanachnu, and I get down on Mamash Pishut, and the guy in front of me smacks me in the face with a smelly sock that he stepped in the bathroom. So that ruined, it was like a little bit of...
And that was the last time.
That was, yeah. Okay, fine. Rabbi Isai, we're holding 90 daf in Kesubos. 90 daf, it's Tzadik Aleph today, but we're holding daf Tzadik Amud Beis, and we have to do sponsors, you're right. Oh, you know what? Here we have a picture of the Davis family steiging in middle school night seder from Darchi Torah. Tzvi Medeski sent it in. Okay, we'll do this next time. Shapsi Cohen, where's Shapsi? He's not here tonight. He sent me this Twitter thing. I don't even know how this works, how he gets Twitter or not. The guy did chazara on the flight. It says, what do you do when you have a long flight? Chazara, and a bunch of the shiurim. Okay, the koilel is sponsored by no one. Okay, the Masechta, Lila Nishmas, Yosef Baruch ben Moshe Aaron. What? They get paid. Actually, there's somebody in this room, I don't think he wants me to say, maybe he does, who gave, for the koilel guys, 4 ben azmanim, $1,000 each. It's unbelievable. In this room. $11,000 as a bonus because they learn more ben azmanim than they learn during the zman. Now they have the over 1,000 daf test that's coming up right after Sukkot. So they got to go. They don't stop for a second. The Masechta sponsor of the Israel is Baruch ben Moshe Aaron, Moshe Elazar ben Shalom, and for that hatzlacha for my children. Jeff Rosner, in zchus my son Yosef, Simcha, Chaim, ben Chana, Refuah Shlaima, Amen. The rest of Masechta is sponsored by Ofishel Mitzva Motivators, Refuah Menshe ben Chana, Brokha. I hope everybody had him in mind in their davening. Avi Mandelbaum. And he just wrote me, I didn't have time to read the whole thing. He was able to blow shofar at the end of the Ne'ilah.
Wow.
Huh? In his backyard meeting they made for him. Lilu Nishma Zechariah ben Moshe is the Paras HaChodesh number 1, Paras HaChodesh number 2. By Lock and Lebovic family is like in Jerusalem because Torah is the best segulah. Paras HaChodesh number 3, Refuah Shlaima Chesed ben Leah. Paras HaChodesh number 4 is zchus, Hashem should watch over me and ensure that I'm completely healthy at Meva Esrim. Paras HaYoim, Yidy Schwartz. Whoa, I can't read this. Shalom Baisim and also zchus for to raise our children having healthy, and also I don't know. Okay, it's backwards. Imi Moirasi Chavamiriam Bas Mordechai, something like that. Fine, we'll figure it out. Yaakov Citron, where's Yaakov? Success in Parnasa. Shkoyach Yaakov. He's not here now. Yehuda Kirlin Refuah Shlaima of Chana Bas Bruria. Okay, Givaldic stuff. Okay, so we're holding in middle of a sugya, which will be over soon because we learned Daf Yomi. There's a beautiful Mishnah coming up in Amud Aleph, but until then, we had a machlokes. We're discussing the idea, the concept of Kesubos Banim Dichrin. Just as a review, you can see on the screen over here, Kesubos Banim Dichrin is every Kesuba, it says the last lines here, the two last lines, Banim Lehevet Lechiminoi, Yirson Kesef Kesubasech. That is, every Kesuba it says that the husband guarantees the wife that if she brings in assets into the marriage, her father gives her something during, for the marriage, during the marriage. Oh, Reb Shalom ran this door in the house. Wow. Kum tzarayin. Hey, it's all for you. All these seats right here. Come, tzaddik. What do you got?
Second.
Hold on. F?
202.
203. Nice suit.
Oh, thank you.
Wow, shkoyach. Thanks for coming. We're holding in the middle of Kesubos Banim Dichrin. Banim Dichrin, he promises, the husband promises that don't worry about it. If this husband gets married to another woman, his second children, the children from the second marriage, are not going to take away the assets that this woman brings in. Whatever she brings in will go to her children. Okay, great. Now, we also learned a very interesting halacha, and perhaps that's the machlokes here. And I'm going to show you another chart that'll confuse you all. There's a halacha that says that this Kesubos Banim Dichrin, the only time you could go after Kesubos Banim Dichrin is if Kesubos Banim Dichrin is a d'Rabbanan, is if there's enough money in the father's assets to also do a Yerusha with it, a regular Yerusha. You have to have a dinner left over. And we said perhaps this machlokes, we weren't sure exactly what the machlokes is. Maybe this machlokes, if a ksuba, when you pay off a ksuba, is that considered the dinner? Is that considered that there's extra assets? So the Banim Dichrin, the male sons, they take whatever their mother brought into the marriage. In addition to that, there's a little bit of a ksuba, there's 200 zuz. That's good enough. That's considered. What do you got over there?
What? Merch. I want to say, first of all, the line on this.
Yeah, no, we're not learning or anything. It's fine. Yeah, go ahead.
It's for you.
It's for me.
No, what happened was,
yeah.
I went to go.
But you make this quick. There's like 10,000 people that want to learn Torah now.
There's a story behind it.
Oh, okay, yeah.
The guy tried recruiting for the show. He's like, yeah, Eli's full of himself. This is what he tells me. He's like, you know the line. It's not about the daf. It's about the Yomi. He's like, it's not about the daf. It's about the belly. That was his line. So I said it's a good line.
Wow.
So
this is good. This is like, hold on a second. One second. So the zchus dad, my son should become Bali Tshuva and Ovdei Hashem. Amen.
New merch.
This is what I need. Motzei Yom Kippur. All right, talk to Gemara. Weiter. Bunch of, you're all going to get it. I'm going to be Gan Eden, you're going to be where. I'm going to be laughing at you.
What size are you?
It's not about the daf, it's about rebelling. Okay, whoever wants this merch, you donate $360 a month and you get one of these every month. Okay, fine.
Keeping it?
Of course I'm keeping it. My wife is going to wear this with a lot of pride. Okay.
Whether she wants to or not.
All right, everybody, so take a look at this chart for a second. Yishkoyach, wow. Thanks to it's a great line. Yeah, the Bizyoid is around 10,000 people. I take it. No, I don't care. The guy's about Gaiva. Let me pull out my book. Where's the book? It's Gaiva for Dummy book. Okay, fine, whatever. There's a few of them. The boys say, okay, let's learn a little Torah. It's Motzei Yom Kippur. Guys have to build their sukkah. What do you show? What do you have over there, Avrami? That's you? That little guy? No. There's like a pointer. Okay. There's 5 possibilities what this machlekes could be. It's geschmack. We're going through Shas Katan, different ideas. Could a ksuba, again, it sounds kind of, it's not complicated at all. In order to give the boys everything their mother brought into the marriage, the ksubas banim dichrin, there has to be a little bit left over. A little bit left over. If there's 0 left over, then they don't get that. Then there's an equal division of the assets. If there's 5 children, 5 boys from 2 different marriages, every boy, there's $500, each boy gets $100. But if there's 501, let's say, extra dollar, extra dinar, that you could split that dinar, then the 2 boys that come from the original marriage, they get everything. They get the whole $500 that their mother brought in to the marriage. Okay? We'll see a little bit more of it later. Now, what if there's not 501, but there's 500 plus 200 zuz, and that 200 zuz goes for the ksuba of the other woman? Is that considered extra assets? So we have a machlekes. Then we have another machlekes. Achas b'chayav, achas b'moisai. That we had the other day extensively. We're going to see more. There's what is this? I don't know. Yeah, okay, fine. Shkoyach. The guy had 2 wives. Let's see here. We have a picture of it. The guy had 2 wives. One died before he died in step 1. Then he died. This is the same thing that we had right before Yontif, before Yom Kippur, but I took off 1 step that says that they got married, like the Gemara calls it. Less confusing, 3 steps. She died, he died, she died. First wife died, then the husband died. In this case, does the first wife's children, do they get ksubas banim dichrin? Is there banim dichrin? Why? Because the classic case of banim dichrin is when both wives, the 2 reds would be before the blue. If the 2 wives die before the husband dies. But if the wife dies before the husband and then the other wife dies, maybe there's no ksubas banim dichrin. There's a machlekes. Okay. Now we're going to see also on Amud Aleph 3 quick machlekes, and perhaps we don't have a raya that the machlekes is achas b'chayav, achas b'moisai. We don't have a raya ksuba. Perhaps the machlekes is that extra dinner that we're talking about, does it have to be real estate? Does that extra dinner, could it be a loan that the father doesn't even have in his assets? He owes money, or some say they owe him money. And also, perhaps there's a machlokes, does it need to be a full dinner? Maybe there's a pruta for each kid. Why does it have to be a dinner? Okay, so these are the 5 possibilities of machlokes. I'm just saying it out loud now, so when we see them, we're not so unfamiliar with it. Okay. So now we're talking about, Rebbe Kiva agrees that there's something called banim dichrin. There is banim dichrin when the wife dies first, then the husband, then the second wife. Just over here we're talking about there's no extra money in addition to the banim dichrin. What is there? Enough money to pay the ksuba. And that's machlokes. Can the ksuba be considered extra money? And if there's extra money, then there's banim dichrin. Maskiv law, Rav Yosef, volume 2, 4, 6, 8, like 10 lines from the bottom. Maskiv law, Rav Yosef challenges this pshat. Yihachi, if you're telling me that the machlokes is whether the ksuba, it becomes moisar, is considered extra. Yachi, Rebbe Kiva Omer, for kofza nachla. Rebbe Kiva says, look at his lashon, for kofza nachla. It's too late. The inheritance jumped away. It's mashma. There's never banim dichrin. Never. It jumped. It's gone. It's the wrong lashon, says the Gemara. Im yesh moisa dinam erbayile. You should just tell me whether or not, if the machlokes is this considered moisar? So tell me such a lashon. Why are you telling me kofza nachla, as if you can never do banim dichrin ever again? Just say im yesh moisar. If there's a dinner, then you could do banim dichrin. If there's no dinner, you could do. If there's no dinner, you can't do. If there is a dinner, that you could do. But don't tell me that you can never do banim dichrin. Okay, so the You know, it's very interesting, by the way. As I'm learning this, I'm like, wow. Milvim Kippur. We know, if you have 1,000,000 mitzvahs against 1,000,000 averos, you're a goner. You have to have that one mitzvah, and everybody asks, what, one mitzvah, Hashem? Yeah, okay, however it works. So also, we could be talking about $1 million ksuba versus sharing it with everybody. If there's one extra dinner, I don't know how much a dinner is, a couple of bucks. You have $1 million and $1. That extra dollar saves you. You get your whole ksuba because you have moiser, you have extra. If you don't have that extra, that's it. You're like a Russian. You lose. You have to split the $1 million with all your brothers. Okay, this idea of moiser. But that should be the point. The point should. Is there an extra dinner or no extra dinner? But he doesn't say that. He says kfar kofta nachla. Elo Omar of Yosef ba'achas b'chayo va'achas b'moisek amivligi. Okay, so you're going to go over here. This is achas b'chayo va'achas b'moisek. The man was married to 2 wives. One died while he's still alive. So if she dies when she's still alive, she doesn't get a ksuba because she died before him. But there's a banim dichrin over here. He promised this woman who died, this 5-towner who's sideways, he promised her that every asset that she brings in, he'll give to the kids. And then after he died, the second woman died. So now, when he dies, he's chayiv ksuba to the second woman, to the Yerushalmi lady. That's a chayiv. So the question is, in this case, do we say banim dichrin? Does the first wife, do her children get ksubas banim dichrin? And that was basically our havamina to begin with. That's how the sugya started. That was the machlokes. Says the Gemara, and this is actually another machlokes tanoim. This Anya. Nasas rishayna v'meisa. Nasas ashniya v'meisu. So this is the case. You see, first he married a woman and she died. Then he married another woman and then he died. These kids come and take a ksuba. Who are these kids? Who are these kids? So the Gemara understands now in the Havamina. Check out this chart. It's the same chart basically. I just wrote on the bottom of the second one. The second woman's kids come and they take a ksuba. That's the Havamina. What's going to change in Maskana is, it's going to go to it means the first woman's kids. Now pay attention. Over here it says, Reb Shimon Omer. So this Reb Shimon, we have to get along with him. If we see a contradiction, that he says something else, then we can't explain certain things. Reb Shimon Omer, what does Reb Shimon say? Is he coming to be Machmar or Mekel? L'chayre is coming to be Mekel. He says, Im yesh moisar dinar. And that's what we were talking about until now. If, in addition to the banim dichrin, to this ksuba, there's an extra dinner which I can perform again. What's the svar over here? The Torah says when a person dies, there's Yerusha. And you Chachamim, you're saying no, there's no Yerusha. I'm giving everything that this guy has, all his assets, I'm giving them over to the woman's kids. Why? Because I want to encourage that woman's father, the shver, to pump money in. To give her a car and to give her a house and to be nice to her and not worry that everything he gives her and her children are going to go to her husband's other children. So I instituted something called a ksubas banim dichrin. But if there are no other assets, then you're being oiker a deraisa. You're getting rid of Yerusha. This is not a Yerusha, this is a ksuba. This is a ksuba. It's a Yerusha from the shver, from the father, and not a Yerusha from the husband. So in order that it shouldn't look bad, so Chaim said, well, you need one dinner, one piece, one moisar, one thing left. I can be mekayim the mitzvah deraisa yoytzazayin. This is mamash yoytzazayin. Take the dinner, give each kid a quarter of a dinner. Okay, I'll yoytza mitzvah Yerusha. And then with all the other assets, the $2 million that the guy left, I'm giving it all to one family because those are the assets she brought into the marriage. Okay. So he says, if there's a dinner, great. So So it means after the second woman takes her ksuba, then we take all the assets and we divide it equally. My lab, you want to see a little bit more about it later, how it works. So says the Gemara, my lab, this machlok is whether or not in this case that we see on the screen, where one woman died, then the husband died, then the second woman died, do we say b'am different? That's our machlok. Says Gemara, the kuli alma. No, perhaps we're not forced. We could say that everybody agrees that there's banim dichrin in this case. So what is the machlokes? Daf tzadik aleph. By the way, stop, you should know, daf tzadik is that if a person is mahar tshuva, if a person says, we had this Gemara a few times, a person says, Amanas, shani tzadik gomer. I'm mikadosh you on condition that I'm a pure tzaddik. What's the halacha? It's good. Why?
Maybe 1 second you were.
Maybe use mahar tshuva for a second. So that's us right here. Daf tzaddik Yom Kippur. Mahar tshuva with tzaddikim. Now we go to Daf tzaddik aleph. Tzaddik aleph. The Medrash says that on Motzei Yom Kippur there's a baskel that says Tzei yachol b'lachmecha. Go eat. In other words, the tshuva everybody's in good. Okay, so we got tzei. Says the Gemara. So if you look at the chart. We're down over here. Do we consider a dinner? That dinner, does it have to be only real estate? Or it could also be cash? Maybe that's the machlokes. It can't be cash. It has to be real estate. So what does Reb Shimon hold? That the dinner can be even cash. As the Gemara, that can't be the machlokes. But nah, and Reb Shimon is the one that says, you need real estate. Yes, our Kesubos dinner. When the two women come to collect their Kesubos banim dichrin, the two families, the kids come to collect the Kesubos banim dichrin. You need, on top of those two Kesubos, you need one dinner from real estate, says Reb Shimon. So it can't be that Reb Shimon holds that it could be even metaltal. Reb Shimon is the one that says it has to be karka. Elahacha b'dinner mishabde kumifligi. So Shiloh, what exactly it means, mishabde? The point is that the father right now doesn't have, either he has the money, but he's obligated to pay a loan that he has, or the pshat is somebody owes him money. Okay, the point is it's a chayv. Okay, there's a chayv out there, whatever the chayv is. Here, goes down, this is the machlokes now. When we say that in addition to the money that you're going to pay off the Kesubos banim dichrin, there has to be a dinner, could that dinner be a dinner that somebody owes the father? Or could that dinner be a dinner that the father owes somebody? Okay. No, you have to have, what's the word? Liquid cash. Cash that, liquid assets, thank you. Liquid assets, not something that's obligated that you mechuyev to pay somebody else. No. A chayiv is also considered that there's a dinner in addition to everything else. Ask the Gemara, it does it again. This Gemara is very medayik and very lumdish over here. Reb Shimon oimer, what's his lashon, Reb Shimon? Im yesham moisar dinar. Im. How do you translate im in English? If. What it should say is kivan. How do you translate kivan? Since. The Tanna Kama holds that you need a dinner that's what? That's liquid assets. It can't be something that you mechuyev. Not meshubet. Reb Shimon is mekel. Reb Shimon comes and he says a kula. He says no, even if it's not liquid assets, even if it's something that you are obligated to pay off somebody else or somebody is obligated to pay you, but it's not liquid. So Reb Shimon is mekel. So what should Reb Shimon say? Since there's another dinner somewhere, I don't know where it is, it's an IOU, that's enough. That's not what he says. He says if. If you have a dinner that you owe somebody, that makes no sense. If. It's not if.
Since is more powerful.
No, since is more lenient. Since means the reason why you could do banim dichrin is since he has a dinner somewhere he has a dinner. Not if. Okay, so says the Gemara, Ella, because of this bomb question, so finally we're saying perhaps it's this machlokes, we're going to go away from this anyway. Maybe the machlokes is, do you need a full dinner? The point is not a dinner. The point is that there should be more assets than you're giving over to the banim dichrin, maybe even less than a dinner.
Because it's not sin. Sin is a lashon of mouth. Key is a lashon of
Same thing. I wrote in my Gemara because, and then I went to sins. I like sins better. Same thing. You get the idea. That's the gist. So that's the machlokes could use less than a dinner. As the Gemara of Reb Shimon dinner kamar. How could you say Reb Shimon holds that less than a dinner is also good? Reb Shimon says before you need a dinner. So over here it's slightly different than usual. Here. Over here the epoch means let's flip it. We're not flipping the names. We're flipping is the case. Until now we said the sugya is that if you have one woman dies, then the husband dies, then the second woman dies. So the second woman's kids come and take the ksuba. We're going to do epoch. Here, check it out. Now, that's the whole epoch. What we're doing is, we're saying that the first woman's kids, they get the ksuba. Now, and what's going to happen? And Reb Shimon, we just said what? Reb Shimon holds what? Rabbi Isai, Reb Shimon holds you need a full dinner. So who's machmer? Reb Shimon or Tanna Kama? Reb Shimon. You asked me from the lashon is mashma. The Reb Shimon is machmer. He is machmer. He says if there's a dinner, then it could work. So he's machmer. Why is he machmer? Because the Tanna Kama holds that the Yarshim get the ksuba, and they hold you don't need a full dinner, and Reb Shimon holds you need a full dinner. Okay. Says Gemara, however, that's not so good. Everybody agrees to this idea that you need a full dinner because the Tanakam in the Mishnah is l'chayr, says Rashi, the same Tanakam as the Brisa. That's what Rashi sticks in here. Everybody's on the same page. Everybody holds that you need a dinner. So you can't say the machlokes is that one holds that you don't need a dinner. Everybody else, you do need a dinner. Says the Gemara, Ela ki hanach trei lishne kamoi. Check this out. We're going to stick with this. The epoch, we're going to stick with this. That what? The question is whether or not the first woman's kids get their ksuba. But check this out. Now, the machlokes is on these two things. Does the dinner have to be real estate? A, machlokes number one. And does the dinner have to be there in liquid assets, or could it also be from a chayiv? And Reb Shimon is going to be machmer in these cases. He's going to say, no, it has to be only real estate. It cannot be from a chayiv. It has to be liquid. Okay, so he's machmer. That's why he says im. The bottom line is, if we do the whole cheshbon of everything, we wanted to say that the machlokes is the red all the way on top. The red in the case of achas b'chayev, achas b'moisai, one woman died, and then the husband died, and the second woman died. Gemara says we have no force. We're not forced. We could always say that the machlokes is the green and the blue. That's the bottom line. It could be something else. It could also be achaz b'chayev, but we're not forced to say it. That's the end of the sugya over there. Says the Gemara, Omar Mazuz Ramishmei the Rapapa, Hilchsa, Hilchsa, achaz b'chayev, achaz b'moisai, yeshem ksuvas banim dichrim. The bottom line is, if you go back to the case of, let's see, this case, achaz b'chayev, achaz b'moisai, one woman died. So we'd say this is not the classic case of banim dichrim. Classic case of banim dichrim is both of the women died before the husband died. Over here it's different. Nevertheless, there is a banim dichrim here. She does get her kids, the first woman's kids, get the ksubas banim dichrim. And another halacha, uksuba nasis moiser l'chaverta. If you have a ksuba in addition to the banim dichrim, that's enough to say that you could do a banim dichrim because there's extra ksuba, there's extra assets that are going to go as Yerusha. They're going to the ksubas, that's Yerusha. So now the Gemara goes into a little nitty gritty here until we get to the Mishnah. Ask the Gemara. Why do you have to tell me these two halachas? Again, halacha number one is that achas b'chai v'achas b'moisa, this case of one woman dies and then her husband dies and the second woman dies, there is banim dichrin. And then there's another halacha that the ksuba is considered moisar. So let's just say it balpeh. What case in the world do we need to say that the ksuba is considered extra dinner so that you could do what with it? Huh? If there's extra ksuba, extra money in the Yerusha, that's moisar, and therefore you could do what? You could do banim dichrin. So you see, if all I need to say, I could say one thing. A ksuba acts as moisar, and therefore you continue the sentence. Therefore, I could do banim dichrin. In our case of dead. The one woman died, the husband died, then the second woman died. I don't need to say this. The halacha is in this case that it's banim dichrin. It's automatic. Maybe Rashi says, and don't say that it's going on the regular case, the classic case of the two women died and then the husband died. That already you wouldn't do you wouldn't need moisar in that case because they're both balei chayv. Fine, ein sham. Right? When two women are getting their banim dichrin, then there's no need for that extra moisar. So it has to be only in this case mesa, then mesa. And therefore, I don't need to say it. It's very dakasdik. This whole sugi is very like, why do you say if? Why should say it instead of if? It's since. This also. Over here, why do I have to tell you, I'm an Amoira, right? Not me, but the Gemara. They're on a very high level. There's no extra words. So why did he have to say there's two halachas? And then we paskin this halacha that you see on the screen, the mesa, there is banim dichrin, and also that a ksuba acts as moisar. The only case that a ksuba acts as moisar is in this case of mesa. So if I say that the halacha is that the ksuba acts as moisar, I know automatically that mesa is banim dichrin and that it works. Okay, so why do I need both cases? Don't worry if it went over your head. We're getting to a mission in a second. If I just said this case of mace, so of course I have to tell me the second halacha that the ksuba acts as a dinner. It's as if there's a dinner here, even though you're using it to pay off a ksuba. But at the end of the day, just tell me the second halacha, and I'll know the first halacha from it. So I know from there the first case. Says Gemara, no, I wouldn't know. Here's the case. I would think it's going on this case. The guy was married to 3 women. 2 died. What's that? Avremi Cohen is in the house. Shalom Aleichem, Avremi, Yishkoyach for filling in for Gary. So, over here you see what's going on here. Over here you have a classic. You have 2 women that died before their husband. Okay? So that's a classic case of banim dichrin. Both of them get banim dichrin. Then, after the husband died, a 3rd wife died. And she left over a girl. So that girl doesn't have a real Yerusha. Says the Gemara, I would think, if I just said the second halacha, that the ksuba acts as a moisar, so think, the Yerushalmi, the Berka lady, the white Berka lady, she died after her husband's death. So I think in that case, there's no fighting, there's no insuye, the whole concern is that we said the other day, we were concerned that there's going to be jealousy between the different sons, and they're going to say, it's not fair, you get Yerusha, I don't get any Yerusha, but over here, her daughter anyways doesn't get Yerusha. But in the case that we were talking about until now, in our case that we're talking about, I don't think that the case is talking about this case over here, and there's no fighting over here. But the case that we spoke about, where one died, then the husband died, another one died, over there could be a big fight, right? Because, what's the fight? The fight is that the first wife that dies, her children get the bottom dichrin. The other guys, they're going to say, they get a ksuba, but they're going to say, we never inherited anything from our father. It's not fair. All his assets went to the first fight. So in that case, we'll think that there shouldn't be a ksubas bottom dichrin, so there shouldn't be any fighting. Kamash Malon, we give them the ksubas bottom dichrin, and we're not concerned about a fight. Says the Eli Mishnah. Official Mishnah, sponsored by, let's see if I can find it here somewhere, by Moshe Cohen and zchus. Okay, it gets easier from here. Person was married to two women, and they both died. And then he died. And the Yisomim want the ksuba. In other words, there's no moisar over here. There's no extra added. So everybody splits everything equally. There's no ksubas banim dichrin. Why? Because in order to have ksubas banim dichrin, you need a little bit extra. There's no extra. So everybody, and the Gemara will explain nicely how you'll be able to visualize it. What the problem with this? People are going to lose over here. But if there's an extra dinner, then in this case, since there's one extra dinner, then it's very possible that one woman brought in $1 million into the marriage. Her kids get $1 million. The other woman only brought in $1,000 into the marriage. Her children get $1,000. These guys get $1 million. These guys get $1,000. Why? Because there's $1.50 extra. Without the $1.50, what happens? You split equally the million, 1,000. Write down. So this family gets 500,000, 500,000. So you could understand that this family is going to lose a lot of money. With that extra dinner, we do it the right way.
Let's say you don't have paper.
Hold on. All shilas afterwards. Check this out. Come to Yisraelim and they say, listen, we want $1 million. So you know what? We're going to evaluate our real estate at $1,001,000. We're going to do everybody a favor. It's really a favor for themselves. $1,001,000. And then we are going to reimburse $1 to the state. And now the state has $1. And because the state has $1, we get $1 million and they get $1,000. If it was exactly $1 million, they didn't evaluate by one more dollar, then they would lose $500,000. The other family would get $500,000. But because they're evaluating their own real estate a little bit more by $1, now the estate has an extra $1, this dinner that we're talking about, and now they can get their $1 million. We don't go like that. It doesn't go based on what you feel that your property is worth. It goes based on what? What the assessor's office said, whatever. There has to be an official person from the Bezdin who comes down and tells you how much the property is worth. We're going to add one dinar to what it's worth in order so that they should be able to take the ksuba from the mother, the ksuba's bottom dichrin, the $1 million. We don't listen to them. Bezdin have to do a shamos, an evaluation. What's the better word?
Appraisal.
An appraisal, thank you. Let's say the guy dies and he did not leave an extra dinner. There's enough money to pay ksubas dichrin, but no extra dinner. But guess what? His father is geisesing somewhere, and his father is a multimillionaire, and he's for sure going to leave his son one dinner. It's too bad. Today, there's no dinner. Just because he's about to inherit a dinner doesn't do anything. That's roi, not kibbutz murzak. Just because it's roi to come to him, it's about to come to him. It's not as if he has it. Reb Shimon Omer, afilu yeshem nechasim she'ein lahem achrayus, ein klum. If he has property that we spoke about, that it's not real estate, he has a bunch of cash in the bank, that's not considered he has another dinner. Ein klum. As yeshem nechasim she'ein lahem achrayus, he has that real estate. Yosef shtei Kesubos, in addition to the ksuba baran dichrin, one dinner. So now, the Brisa just explains it little bit better than what it says in the Mishnah. Lezu elef. One of the two women has a ksuba that's worth 1,000. Lezu chamesh ma'os, and the other woman has a ksuba that's only worth 500. So you see, they're not even, they're not equal, they're not fair. Im yeshem moisa dinner. If you have that extra dinner, that with that dinner you could go ahead and play out a doiraisa yerusha. So then this family gets 1,000, this family gets 500, everything is good. Vim lav. But if you don't have the extra dinner, each family gets 750, and the family that deserved the 1,000 loses out. And the family that's the poor family that only deserved the 500, they gain. Says the Gemara hatzlacha. Pshita merubim v'nismatu. What happens? Again, we're talking about that when the father dies, he has to leave over enough money to give the ksuba banim dichrin plus one dinner. When he died, that's exactly what happened. There was a dinner. But a lot of his money was invested in Bitcoin. And by the time they got around to split the nechasim, he lost half his money. And now he doesn't have a dinner more than the ksuba. So what do we base it on? On the moment that he died, or on the moment that we split the ksuba? Says the Gemara, Pshita, that's Pashit. Kfar Zacho Bem Yarshin, it goes by the moment he died. At that moment he had the extra dinner, so the family that has 1,000, they get 1,000. The family gets 500, they get 500. But what about the opposite? Mu'otim in Israbu Mai. What was the Olam say? What? It should be?
The other ones were
Time of death. Right. That's what I would say also. The what? When at the time of death, there's no dinner. So no dinner, then we have to do 50-50. This family gets 750, this family gets 750.
What about the Borcha?
Hold on, all kashas later. The other wants to go home and buy lulavim and esrogim and build sukkahs, all kashas later. Unless they're very good ones. What? Is it a good one? It's what? How do you know it's excellent?
We'll see.
Let's see. Okay, well, but if it's not, don't be insulted if it's not good. Yeah, no.
What about the first one?
Yeah.
He gets double of everybody else.
Not a good kasha. Toshma, the nichse, you have a good kasha.
Where's your white yarmulke you wore last year?
That's a very good kasha. Get over here. I had a white yarmulke and a kittel, a white. I was more serious. I brought this boring Yom Kippur kind of tie instead.
I told him on the way. He said, "You better be wearing your white yarmulke."
I was thinking about it. I was going back and forth, but that, you see, tzaddik, you see the type of kashas we're looking for over here? Okay, thank you. Toshma, the nichse the bei bar tzartzur mu'atim in Israel. So again, what if the bchar? What was the kasha? I have no idea. The nichse the bei bar tzartzur mu'atim in Israel. There was a mamish this case. The guy died, didn't leave over enough money for the ksubas banim dichrim plus a dinner, and all of a sudden he got lucky. Whatever weed he had, I don't know what, it became more valuable. You got to go pay the extra money to the bigger ksuba. In other words, we don't go by the time of the death. They didn't listen to him. You better listen to me. If you don't listen to, if you don't not mefayis them, I'm going to hit you with a whip that's not going to draw blood. In other words, I'm going to put you in chayrim. I'm not going to physically hit you. I'm going to do a lot of damage without that. So they decided to go to Rav Nachman. Rav Nachman is the Gol Adar. Omar Lehen and Rav Nachman paskin in their favor. It's a good thing they didn't listen to him. Just like we say, when there's a lot of assets and they go down in value, we go by the moment of death. So too in the case when there's very few assets and they became more valuable, who was Zoicha? The ones with the lesser ksuba is at the time of death. We just turned to Tzadik Aleph, Amud Beis. Unbelievable. 90 daf into this most amazing Masechta. I'm going to really miss it. Ooh, wow. During Ben Zmanim. How many more daf is it? Like 30. Less. Oh, it's Kufyud Beis. Wow. Just a few weeks. In honor of my uncle, Rebbe Chaim Pressman, and as zchus for a year filled with mazel, bracha, hatzlacha, and Simcha, and parnasa b'reva. And sponsored by an individual as a zchus to continue being able to support Torah and to finish Shas with Rebbe Eli. Ahu Gavra. So now we're going to have a bunch of stories for the next, today, to the rest of this year and into tomorrow. Ahu Gavra the maskebe alfa zuzay. He owed 1,000. I really wanted to make a chart for this, but I ran out of time, unfortunately. I don't think we need a chart, but it would have been a little bit better, more helpful. A guy he owed 1,000, and he had 2 mansions. He sold both of his mansions to one person for 500 each. Comes the malva, and he grabs one of the mansions. There's a loiva and a malva. The loiva goes, he owes 1,000. Right before, he doesn't have any money. He doesn't have a penny to his name. He goes ahead and he sells off 2 mansions. Now he's not allowed to sell them. Why? Because they're meshubad to the malva. The malva is not a loser. He knows what's going on here. He comes to the loiva. Where's the money? I don't have money. Didn't you have 2 mansions? I used to. I sold them to so-and-so. So he goes to so-and-so. He chaps 1 mansion. How much is each mansion worth? 500. So how much is owed to him? 500. Hodar kotoref lidach. He's about to grab the second mansion. The buyer of the 2 mansions lost 1 already. He doesn't want to lose both. Shakal alfa zuzah v'kol ozel gabei. He takes 1,000 zuz out of his pocket and he goes to the malva and he tells him, Omerle, ishavi loch alfa zuzah l'chayi. If you can consider the first mansion you chapped for me, and I'm very upset about it, by the way. You took my mansion from me. If you could consider it 1,000, great. At the end of the day, he only paid 500 for it. He wants to increase the value of the mansion to 1,000. He only paid 500 for it. No. If you can consider it, 1,000, great. And if you don't consider it 1,000, here's 1,000 zuz, give me back my original mansion. Interesting. He took a clue from our Mishnah. What happened? We have Yisayimim that they want to inherit 1,000. They want 1,000. But they have a big tzara here because their father didn't leave them anything more than 1,000. He was supposed to leave 1,000 plus a dinar. He didn't leave a dinar. So what do they say? They were going to evaluate it in their own minds and say that it's worth, they're going to make their own appraisal and say it's worth 1,001. And then take the 1, put it back into the pushka, into the assets, and say, look, there's an extra dinner here. And we said they can't do it. Why? Because a person can't increase the value of the property just because they decided to do so. So over here also, this guy can't decide that his mansion is worth 1,000 when it's only worth 500. Is that a good comparison? Rava doesn't think so. In our case, when one family wants to consider their property to be worth 1,001, when indeed it's only worth 1,000, what are they trying to do? They're trying to make the other family lose 250. Because if they don't do this trick, then everything goes into one pot and 750 to them, 750 to them. They don't want 750, they want 1,000. They want to get the other guys. They want to make the other guys lose. So we say, you can't make him lose. You can't make up your own appraisal to make somebody else lose. That doesn't work like that. But this guy that bought the 2 mansions, he doesn't have any loss. Why? Alpha Yoav, Alpha Shaka. He bought them for 1,000. This guy's not trying to take away the mansions from him and not give him anything. He's trying to get his mansion back and give him 1,000 instead. Here's 1,000 zuz. I want my mansion back. He had no loss. Says Gemara, but let's say it does work. So what exactly are we going to write? How much does the loiva owe the malva? Once his mansions are lost, they took away the mansions from him. How much? Question is, how do we view it? He gave him 1,000 for that one mansion, but is that? How much is it worth? Is it 1,000 or 500? What is it? He only gets 500 back. Another story. He owed 100. Rabbi said this identical story, just instead of 1,000 and 500, 150. Same exact story. The Rishonim asks, why do we need two stories? The same exact thing. He had two pieces of land. Instead of two mansions, he had two pieces of land. He sold both to one person for 50 each. Bachayv came and grabbed one. He was about to grab the second piece. So he took 100 zuz, the owner of the two pieces, the guy that just bought the two pieces of land. He said, listen, if you take 100, great. If you consider the first piece of land 100, good. Otherwise, take this 100 zuz right now and give me back my piece of land. Sover of Yosef is somebody else. I could prove from the Mishnah, Imam Yisayimim, that they don't have a right to increase the value, to increase the appraisal. Before it's Rav, now it's Abaya. Over there, they want to hurt the Yisayimim, so you can't increase the appraisal on your own. Over here, there's no hefsed. Mea yav, mea shakel. The two pieces of land cost him 100. He got 100 back. How gavra? Somebody owed him. He owed 100 zuz. Shachiv, he died. Shavakatino da'ara da'avashavi 50 zuz. He left over a very small piece of land that was worth 50. Comes the guy that he owes money and he grabs the piece of land. So the Yisayim come and they say, listen, here's 50. We want the land back. So now he takes the 50 and he grabs the land also. That's not what they wanted. They wanted the land. And that's it. Huh? No, over here the guy was smart.
We take 1,000 mention. We still owe 500.
Okay, but he didn't. He was a mensch. This guy, he sees he's dealing with little Yisayim. Why not? Huh? No, over there he wouldn't do it because he got the 1,000. Why would he do it? Once he gets 1,000, he's not going to chop. He can't chop. If it's not his, that's the whole thing. Okay, over here they really owe another 50. So they took the cash, and then he chopped the field again. Also he asked me, also coming down by it. There's a mitzvah on the Yisayimim to pay up the loan of the father. Now, what kind of mitzvah is it? It's a mitzvah d'Rabbanan. Hanakamoi mitzvah aviditu. When you paid back the 50, you did a mitzvah. Hashaki tarif bedinka tarif. Now, there's a very interesting Rashi here. Rashi did a mitzvah al yisayim lefroy choy v'aviyim. Mishum kvoid aviyim, says Rashi. You see, it's like 1/3 down, all the way up top. Like 10 lines from where it becomes narrow. Mitzvah al yisayim lefroy choy v'aviyim. Mishum kvoid aviyim el she'ein lebezdin lekufim lakach. Bezdin cannot force them. The lav mitzvah asay mefureshesi kesuka uchelulav. It's not like a mefurish mitzvah in the Torah like sukkah and lulav this week. Ella mitzvah ba'alma d'Rabbanan. It's only a mitzvah d'Rabbanan, says the Gemara. V'lo ya'amaron d'lo yomru lei hani chamishim zuzah d'mei ar d'katina, because they didn't say anything. Aval yomru lei hani chamishim zuzah d'mei ar d'katina saluki silku. If they say mefurish, we're giving you the 50 instead of it's for not to pay up a loan, but we want our land back. Then they were able to get him out of the land. Rabboisai, have a wonderful week. A Gemar Chasima, what do you say? A Piskatava. Welcome to all the guests.